the least time with in these runs, given that he decided to peace out of the universe halfway through the group video. The Vault Tech building is to the southeast, in the old laggy part of town, so me and Dogmeat begin sprinting straight there. I mark a few locations on the way, not intentionally mind you, kinda just happened to pass by. Granted, I won't turn down some easy experience. Getting to the building was actually way easier than I thought. I assumed there would be a fair amount of enemies on the way, but that honestly wasn't the case. Well, okay, there was a Yaogwai right outside that would have torn me to shreds with but a thought, but fortunately I was able to sprint past it while it was waking up and safely made my way to the building. By two feral ghoul roamers. Gotta say, I am really glad I brought Dogmeat along for this. He can't do that much damage as of yet, and to be honest, he barely lasts 10 seconds against the ghoul, but it is enough for me to nearly take out one of them, and at the very least, cripple both its arms. When it briefly turns into a 2v1, things are a little dire, what with the amount of damage I'm taking. However, I did have enough healing supplies thanks to the ones that I was able to grab on the way here. To be fair, most of it is just the stuff you get from the vault at the beginning. Regardless, it is enough to see me through. When it's down to an even fight, Lucy briefly taps into her inner Fred the Fish. And before long, we then deal the final strike, heal our broken bones with needles, and then see about searching this place for the vault suit. I figured that heading to the basement first and then working my way up would be the right way to go. Gotta crawl before you climb and all that. Well, clearly the game wanted you to head here last while exploring, as the basement houses the strongest ghoul in the place, that being a stalker. Again, normally not something to fear, but remember, I am naked, ergo I am afraid. Not helping matters is the fact that Dogmeat decided to just chill upstairs for the time, so I was in the fight alone. Fortunately, I had saved a critical from the last encounter, so the fight is off to a great start as we manage to cripple one of the ghoul's arms. He quickly packs the damage on in return, but the same way that Zelda players like to have a fairy in the bottle for sticky situations, I too like...
Move it! Out of my way!
The expert is here.
Come on!
Yep. This ought to do it.
Move it!
Healing circuit fired up!
You're under arrest!
How do you like me?
Like to employ a similar strat in Fallout 4 of having an emergency Nuka-Cola Quantum for when things get dicey. It helps to even the odds, and even though I'm flailing two broken appendages at him, I am eventually going to win. I probably could have fixed my arms and just attacked during the fight, but I would much rather have kept the dude's stun lock and stopped the onslaught to heal. Thankfully, my efforts got away. Right after setting my arms, I didn't
Come on! The expert is here.
To be honest, any volts is wrong.
Okay.
I don't know if I would
My turn!
The expert is here.
At the very least, Dogmeat
The pressure's on.
Going the extra mile!
Out of the way!
This ought to do it!
You're headed behind bars!
The final act begins now.
Want some more? Coming through!
Turn over, and you leave!
Sure, I'll make it pain.
Helped make quite the difference. Anyway, returning to Sanctuary, and I check the campsite station, and to my delight, the requirements for the armored variant are quite reasonable. In fact, I already have everything, bar 8 pieces of leather. It's not a bother, so I quickly travel on down past Concord to Trashcan Carla, buy a few items that can be scrapped for leather, and then meet up with Trudy and Wolfgang, and rather than knock Wolfgang's head into the stratosphere like usual, I instead opt to take the dramatic route by convincing everyone to stand down.
Don't get hit. Let's rotate.
Once again, I successfully bargained for a piece of leather. But when strapped
Come on.
the jungle harlot, get
Sure.
upon my return.
A little gift for ya.
Energy resistance. 35 seconds.
Set in position.
The exit is here.
My turn. You may remain silent.
This'll be painless. Sight.
The perk doesn't recognize it as one, and as such is still in effect when you're intentional mechanic or oversight by the devs that after 9 years is yet to be patched? I'll let you all be the judge of that one. On to the station, and things are off to a good start. Much like the ghouls, Dogmeat helps to distract while I slowly pick them off one at a time. This works pretty well for the few at the entrance. It also helps there's a bed nearby, so I can rest up and heal for what it's worth. So the biggest, and what would no doubt be the most annoying encounter is next, which is of course the tunnel right before the vault entrance. Now, even with my defensive upgrades, I am no match for all of them in a straight-up fight. I will be slaughtered. So, I could sit here and either slowly draw them in one at a time and take them out, or I can do the sensible thing of just sprinting past all of them to the vault, while Dogmeat runs distraction again. I do still have to take out the handful by the door, but that's alright, they end all that tough. Once they're out of the picture, the inside of the vault is honestly quite a breeze. You might think this room posed a similar problem to the tunnel, but no. There is more than enough cover here, given the layout, that I don't even have to play that carefully. After making it to and dealing with Dino, I meet up with Nick, and for a brief moment my heart sunk, as I thought the mod had refused to work, as I could not see the weapon anywhere. I guess I just assumed it would be on the desk behind Nick. However, once I turned around, I noticed the glass case on the wall with the gun nested firmly inside. I was delightfully surprised to also find out that the simple act of retrieving the weapon from the case came with its own unique animation. I know a lot of weapon mods come with unique animations when using them, but having one for its retrieval? I don't know, it just stood out to me as being really cool. So, of course, this is a trank gun. It allows me to channel my inner Metal Gear Solid 2 as I put people to sleep with a single hit. Unlike Metal Gear Solid though, this is an instant paralyze effect no matter where I hit the target. Now, they aren't permanently out for the count, rather the effect wears off after about 10 seconds or so. Granted, that is more than enough time for me, Dogmeat, and now Nick to finish them off while they roll around helplessly on the floor. I have very limited ammo at the moment, so I do have to kind of pick and choose my battles on the way out. A few Triggermen did drop more trank rounds when killed, so that was nice at least. At the entrance, or exit depending how you look at it, I attempted to smooth talk my way out again, but much like the show, Lucy doesn't always succeed in that area. I am able to get off a few quick stuns and VATs right away to help even the playing field, but in the end, it resulted in me pistol whipping most of them to death, as my companions don't really pull their weight right now. Why did I not just trank them and then switch back to my bare hands to quickly finish the job? So once we get outside, I ship Nick off to Diamond City, and then see what kind of upgrades we can put on our new pistol. Well, turns out we have quite a few good options at our disposal. First off, we can actually edit the weapon itself to make it look different, and then we have the normal upgrades such as better range, better hipfire accuracy, etc, etc. However, the two most interesting upgrades are the ones that can change it to fire syringer ammo, and one that modifies it to fire lasers. So I did the smart thing. I went to the nearby chemistry station and decided to make 2 more pistols. I should note that I got the ability to craft more once I picked up the initial one in Vault 114. Now that I had 3, I could have one of each variant. One for sleeping, one for syringes, and let's be real, one for killing. I took all of these versions of the weapons to Conquer, and yeah, this is absurd. So the energy one is like a stronger laser pistol, if that wasn't obvious enough. I left it at its normal damage output, so no damage upgrades on the gun. It will more than likely be my primary go-to. The sleep one, again, is good for just taking things out of the fight, especially effective on stronger enemies like raider bosses or, I don't know, a Deathclaw for example. The Syringer upgrade, however, well, the Syringer is a notoriously terrible weapon in Fallout 4. Like, its best way to do straight up damage is with bleed syringes, but they barely tickle things when compared to most other weapons. Well, to get around this, for whatever reason, the Syringer version of this trank pistol just gives it a flat base damage of 135. Needless to say, this is letting me one-shot just about everything. I understand wanting to make the Syringer more potent so it's actually viable, but holy moly. So, after just absolutely slaughtering for Deathclaw, I did the only reasonable thing and bumped the difficulty up to very hard. At the very least, we should all be outputting around the same damage now. Granted, it's incredibly easy to become a defensive wall in Fallout 4 thanks to perks, but I digress. Seeing how the Minutemen are working once again, I figured I could start by helping them out. Like normal, Preston sends me off to 10 Pounds Bluff, but nothing is stopping me from bringing other settlements into the fold along the way. Before leaving, I craft some more trank rounds, not because I think I will need them, but because they are fun to use. Although the answer seemed obvious, I figured I should find out for certain whether or not the trank rounds work on robots. I decided to test this on possibly the deadliest one I could find this early on, that being the sentry bot at the nearby scrapyard. As expected, it pings right off of his metal shell, and I am promptly executed for trying something so idiotic. In the next life, I just ignore the death machine as I make my way for the satellite station for an easy settlement recruitment quest. The strategy of immobilizing people and then lighting them up with a laser variant of the pistol continues to be the most enjoyable way to use this weapon combo. There is a bit of an odd glitch when switching to the laser variant where sometimes it refuses to fire for a few seconds. Figured that I should bring this up now, just in case there are points later in the run where it looks like I am just randomly staring at people and not doing anything. I assure you that I am more than likely mashing the trigger like a madman in those scenarios. Another glitch that occurs frequently, although this one is separate from the mod, and is in fact to do with the recent next-gen patch. For whatever reason, VATS is now just a straight-up wall hack. Yeah, like, it doesn't even matter if there are multiple objects, walls, buildings, whatever between you and your enemy. So long as they are within VATS' distance, you will pick them up. Now, I have no idea whether using it like this will have my weapon shoot them despite what's in the way, but I opted to not find out. So if I was using VATS, I made sure that it was definitely someone that I could see first. The odd time it will lock onto someone in a different area minding their own business, but again, when that happens, I will just not abuse it. Well, as you can see, it doesn't take very long to deal with Ak and her crew, so I grab the locket, along with some junk, and then continue my selling and procurement questing. Seeing how 10 Pounds Bluff is within spitting distance, it's where I decide to hit up next. However, due to me already passing by Lexington and the Corvega assembly plant earlier, this means I will be sent somewhere different for a change. The place in question being Walden Pond. Can't complain, it's close by and significantly smaller in size than Corvega, so really it's a win-win. I was running a little low on the trank rounds, but to save myself mentioning this every time my supply runs low, the materials needed to craft more are quite abundant, the only exception being oil to a degree. Thankfully, I have a somewhat infinite supply of that due to Carla now being in Sanctuary. I'll just need to travel away and wait a few days between shopping sprees and all. Anyway, I head off to Walden Pond, and the 5 or 6 raiders don't really stand a chance against Lucy and her pocket paralyzed spell. This is giving me weird flashbacks to my first time using Volendrung in Oblivion, only with a lot less of this. Shut up. It just works. On my way out, I find myself on my second favorite Fallout dam, only to be confronted by a very aggressive Mr. Gutsy, who shots me. Next attempt, and without him catching me off guard, I at least stand
I've been
a
waiting
chance.
for you.
Granted, he is still packing on damage like nobody's business. There are some ruined cars in the area that make decent enough cover that I can attack him safely without my eternal organs getting a peek at the outside world. He is quite the glass cannon, luckily, so it doesn't take very long to decommission him. Once more, I am in the area, so to really make Preston's day, I capture yet another settlement, that being Sunshine Tidings. All I have to contend with here is like a goods, not unions. While I am on the killing spree, I figured it would first select to me. I headed to the nearby chapel, Fred, like anyone who would think would be a slight threat to get crumbled, and then roughly blasted in the head multiple times. This pushed me to left line, and then I took the second. raiders. Although I like to imagine that this one actually just lost its footing and fell down the steps due to the demise. Rooting, shooting, and looting my way through the final few rooms, and I leave by the front door. I also make the noteworthy discovery that you cannot shrink people in power. Makes sense, small little needles not going to penetrate all that armor. That being said, the bleed syringes for the other variant may
Waste of time.
Seth in position. Which one?
My turn. The expert is here.
Castle. First, though, I would need more fusion cells, as all that murdering has run me dry. Good Neighbor would have a decent supply of them, as well as Diamond City. Since I was in the area, I also tested the limits of the trank gun again, this time on Swan. And just like before with the Sentry Bot, I was sent straight to hell for even thinking about it. So, for those keeping track, it seems to work on all organic creatures, so long as they are not bosses, or power on them. Anywho, I get the ammo, and then I decide to quickly clear out Starlight.
Backup's here.
Shit. Next up on the actual quest.
Resistance is futile.
Come on.
Okay. The final act begins now. Let's finish the job.
One part because they will no doubt be stronger than most of what I have faced thus far, and secondly, I have that in, especially at home. I strolled on up at night, which definitely helped out a ton, as I could get in a few sneak crits before they all noticed I was here, which helped to even the playing field. Speaking of crits, I made sure to save one for this encounter because I know that there is at least one nuke-loving super mutant, and seeing how crits and VATS are always guaranteed to hit, regardless of the percentage chance, I can land a direct crit on the bomb and take him out from a safe distance. Attacking at night also helped me keep track of the missile launcher mutant, as every time it fired, the missile itself stuck out like a sore thumb, making it incredibly easy to avoid. To make things even easier on myself, I momentarily sent him to Sleepy Town while I focused on his friends. Other than one of them momentarily channeling his inner Michael Jackson, there wasn't a whole lot to say about the rest of them. Making our way inside to fix the plant, and you may think I'd be concerned about the Mirelurks. No, not really. They don't tend to attack you all at once in here, given the narrow corridors, so I can simply employ the old sleep and shoot technique until I'm the only one left standing. Returning to the robots, and I am rewarded for a job well done. As for the task at Oberlin Station, it's the same as usual.
What, Dad? Alright.
On the right side, without out of the way, Craftsman is finally ready to ship into the gear and begins making his way to the castle.
Wanna go?
You have to secure the perimeter.
Let's do this.
Which alias should...
Wanna go? Need.
A mission ready when you are.
What the?
I can't tell whether you're joking or radiation melted part of your brain.
Seth in position.
I'll make it painless. Surrender. Sure.
Backup's here.
Let's rotate.
My turn. Cracking down.
Found your weakness. Such provocations don't go unanswered.
Seth into.
Waste of time. Got your back. No escape. Easy. Here's a taste of the abyss.
You may remain silent.
This'll be painless. Psych. The victor is clear.
Do not use SPE.
You have my complete support.
We're done. The victor is clear. Enemy possession 6 shall pay.
Wadada.
Waste of time. Resistance is futile. The victor is clear. Careful, the enemy's recovered. Waste of time.
Hey, what the fuck?
Resistance is futile. Surrender. Resistance is futile. The victor is clear. They're coming too.
An outbreak of deadly fungus is not just
ownership of a derelict apartment building with few tenants. Our goal? Go from being a horrible landlord to a more profitable horrible landlord. And we rental every year to the building. In the process. There's only one way to know. But first, a word from our sponsor. The match.
Resistance is futile. Surrender. Resistance is futile. The victor is clear. Careful, feelings of heaven. Waste of time. Surrender. Mind and body. The victor is clear. Resistance is futile. The victory is clear! Such provocations don't go unanswered. Resistance is futile. Waste of time. Resistance is futile.
Did you wanna so sleepy. Let's take a break.